Here's the conversation nobody has with you when you walk into a new construction sales office in Buckeye or Goodyear. You ask about the tax rate, they say Arizona has low property taxes compared to California, and they are telling you the truth about one number. What they don't tell you is that in Verrado, your community facilities district adds 43% to the base bill. In Teravalis, it adds 36%. And starting in year 2, when the county reassesses your home at its full improved value, that number hits all at once. I'm Cassandra Chavez with the Chavez Dream Home Team. I work in Buckeye, Goodyear, Peoria, and Surprise every week. And this is the tax conversation you deserve to have before you sign anything. Here's the direct answer if you are searching for what CFDs actually cost in the West Valley. West Valley, Arizona communities like Buckeye's Verrado and Teravalis use community facilities districts, CFDs, to fund master plan infrastructure. Depending on the community and phase, these districts add secondary tax rates that can reach $3.56 per $100 of assessed value, increasing total property tax bills by 24 to 43%. Buckeye carries a combined 9.3% sales tax rate in 2026, and part of Peoria reaches up to 9.3%. The rest of this video is going to show you exactly what those numbers look like on a real tax bill, and more importantly, what to do about them before you sign a builder contract. If you're coming from California, you know what Mello-Roos is. It's that extra tax line on your property bill that funds the infrastructure in newer planned communities. We're talking the roads, the parks, the water system. It can be hundreds of dollars a month. And one of the reasons people relocate from California to Arizona is the idea of escaping that extra burden. Lower taxes, more take home, a different financial life. That is a completely reasonable hope, and understandably so. Here's what the generic search results do not tell you though. Arizona does not call it Mello-Roos. Arizona calls it Community Facilities District, a CFD. And in the West Valley, nearly every master plan community has one. Verrado, Teravalis, Surprise Farms, Posada, Estancia. The mechanism is different from California. The disclosure is different. The payoff options, they're different. And the timing of the biggest payment, the year 2 tax shock, catches buyers completely off guard because no one prepared them for it. I had a buyer looking at a new construction home in the West Valley. They were excited. It checked all the boxes. Before they signed anything, we pulled the public report and parcel data on comparable completed homes in the community and walked them through what the tax bill was going to look like in year 2. Their initial payment estimate from the sales office looked great. The year 2 picture was about $300 a month higher. We did not tell them to walk away. We just made sure they were making the decision with real numbers in front of them. They bought the home. And when year 2 came and the escrow adjustment hit, they weren't surprised at all. They had planned for it. That's the difference between feeling blindsided and feeling prepared. Same home, same tax bill, completely different experience. I've heard many stories where the buyers were blindsided, and this is exactly why this video exists. Let me show you what the numbers are actually saying. I pulled the real tax bills from Maricopa County using actual parcel data from West Valley communities that I'm going to be talking about. These are not estimates, these are real bills. Verrado, Buckeye. The Richmond American community in Verrado East carries a community facilities district, secondary tax rate that, depending on your specific phase or district, ranges from approximately $3.18 to $3.56 per $100 of limited assessed value. Verrado has multiple CFD districts, so your rate will depend on exactly where in the community your home sits. On a real parcel in this community, the CFD and special district charges accounted for $1,096 of a $3,482 total tax bill. That's 43% of the total property tax obligation coming from CFDs alone. Teravalis, Buckeye, Linares Floreo community within Teravalis, formerly the Douglas Ranch development, is a newer district. So the CFD rate starts lower in the early phases while the initial bonds are being issued. But the district's projected rate as infrastructure matures can reach $3.55 per $100 of assessed value, and that is the number you need to plan around, not the introductory figure. This is a real critical distinction with brand new master plan communities. The rate you see in year one is often not the rate you'll pay long term. On a real Teravalis parcel, special district taxes accounted for $961 of a $2,668 total bill. That's 36%. Vistancia Peoria, Escalante at Vistancia in Peoria operates under the Vistancia Community Facilities District, established in 2002. The secondary rate runs approximately $2.10 per $100 of assessed value for original district. If you're looking at Vistancia North, also called North Point, the district carries a higher combined target rate of $2.65. Same community name, meaningfully different tax obligation depending on where your lot falls. On real parcels in this community, special districts account for nearly 25% of the total property tax bill. The school district layer. One more number that surprises buyers in Peoria is the Peoria Unified School District levy. It represents 45% of the total residential property tax bill for parcels in that area. That is before the CFD. You're layering a CFD on top of an already significant school district obligation. What I see consistently in my West Valley buyer consultations: a buyer arrives having done their homework on the base tax rate. They've looked it up, they feel informed. The number that blindsides them is always the secondary tax rate, and specifically the CFD piece. Even buyers who have owned a Melrose property in California are caught off guard because Arizona's disclosure process is different. The public report is the document that contains all of this, but it's usually handed over as a link in an email. Very few buyers read it before signing. What is a community facilities district and how does it affect my Arizona property taxes? A CFD is a special taxing district created by the city or county to fund infrastructure inside of a master plan development. We're talking about roads, water lines, drainage systems, parks, all the infrastructure that makes a new community possible. Instead of the developer paying for all of that up front, the cost is financed through bonds. Those bonds are repaid through a secondary property tax levy placed on every home in the district. Every homeowner pays their share annually, and it shows up as a separate line on your tax bill. In Arizona, CFDs are authorized under ARS Title 48. They are legal, they are disclosed, and they are everywhere in the West Valley. Verrado, Teravalis, Vistancia, Surprise, Master Plan communities, and Goodyear's newer developments. The key thing to understand is this: your base property tax rate, the number that makes Arizona look so attractive compared to California, does not include CFD obligation. It is a separate charge, and in some communities, it adds more to your annual tax bill than the base tax rate does. How much do CFD taxes add to a monthly payment in Verrado, Teravalis, and Vistancia? Let me give you the monthly math because this is how most people think about housing costs. Verrado in Buckeye, the CFD adds approximately $1,000.97 a year. That's about $91 a month on top of your base payment. In Teravalis, in Buckeye, the CFD adds approximately $961 a year. That is about $80 a month. Vistancia in Peoria, the CFD adds an estimated $445, and that's about $37 a month. These are based on actual parcel data from Maricopa County. Your numbers will vary based on your specific assessed value, but these give you a real sense of scale. And remember, these numbers are based on year one assessments in some cases. When the county fully assesses your improved home value, which can happen year 2, these numbers can increase. What is the year 2 property tax increase, and why do new construction buyers get surprised? This is the one that catches people the most off guard. Here's how it happens. When a builder sells you a new home, they often quote your estimated tax obligation based on the current assessed value of the land, not the full value of the completed home. The county has not yet assessed your finished house, so the payment estimates look reasonable. In year 2, sometimes late year 1, depending on when you closed, Maricopa County reassesses the property at its full improved value. In Arizona, this is governed by what is called Rule B under ARS Section 4213302. When a property's value increases by more than 15% due to new construction, the limited property value is reset based on comparable improved properties. The home is now worth significantly more on the tax rolls than bare land. Your CFD charges and secondary taxes are now calculated on that higher assessed value. The result can be a jump of several $100s per month in your mortgage and escrow payment. Your lender adjusts the escrow to account for the higher tax obligation, and your payment goes up, sometimes significantly, even though your interest rate hasn't changed. What can you do about it? Ask the builder's sales office for a current tax bill on a comparable completed home in the community, not a projection based on land value. I can also pull real parcel data with you before you sign. That's part of how I work with buyers in these communities. Can I pay off my Buckeye or Peoria CFD taxes all at once? This is one of the most important questions to ask and one of the most misunderstood. In many West Valley CFDs, the infrastructure portion of the levy, the bond repayment, can be paid off as a lump sum at closing or anytime during your ownership. This is called a bond prepayment. If you have cash or the lender allows you to roll it into your financing, paying off the infrastructure bond can eliminate that portion of your secondary tax obligation permanently. However, and this is critical, many CFDs also include an operations and maintenance component. O&M fees fund ongoing expenses like landscaping, maintenance, water feature upkeep, park operations. These do not go away when you pay off the infrastructure bond. They stay on your tax bill indefinitely. Before you close on any master plan community in Buckeye, Goodyear, Surprise, or Peoria, you need to know what portion of my CFD obligation is bond payment versus O&M. How much can I pay off and what remains permanently? The answer lives in the public report, which is the disclosure document every Arizona builder is required to provide, but most buyers never read it. What does the public report say about CFD obligations and how do I find it? Arizona law requires every builder and developer to provide a public report administered through the Arizona Department of Real Estate, or ADRE. This document discloses all material facts about new development, including CFD obligations, HOA structure, and infrastructure financing. For Linares Floreo at Teravalis in Buckeye, the current public report was effective August 21st, 2025. For Richmond American's portfolio at Verrado East District, Phase 4, the effective date is September 25th, 2025. These are live documents with real legal disclosures. Here's the problem. Builders are legally required to give you access to the public report. They are not required to walk you through it. Most often, it's handed over as a link in an email or a QR code on the sales office counter. It can run 30 pages or more. In the excitement of a new construction purchase, the design center selections, the lot premium conversations, the rate buy down negotiations, very few buyers read all 30 pages. The CFD details are in there. The O&M disclosures, they're in there. Buyers miss them, not because they weren't disclosed, but because no one helped them find the right pages. Before you sign with any West Valley builder, I'll pull the public report with you. We'll go through the relevant sections together. This isn't something you should be doing alone on a Saturday night. How do Buckeye and Peoria sales taxes compare to Phoenix and other Arizona cities in 2026? There's another cost element that has shifted in the West Valley recently, and it affects every purchase you make once you move here. In 2026, Buckeye carries a combined sales tax rate of 9.3%. That rate includes Arizona state base of 5.6%, Maricopa County's 0.7%, and the city's own rate on top. Peoria reaches up to 9.3% depending on your specific location within the city. So verify the rate for the exact address, not just the city average. Surprise comes in slightly lower at 9.1% combined, and the city of Phoenix sits at 8.8% for reference. This matters because part of the Arizona value proposition is lower cost of living overall. When you are running a 9.3 sales tax on groceries, clothing, and everyday purchases and layering a CFD on your property tax, the gap with California closes more than the headline suggests. None of this means the West Valley is not the right move. For many California buyers, it absolutely is. It just means you need accurate numbers, not just the base property tax rate the sales office leads with. What should I ask Builder Sales Office before signing a new construction contract in the West Valley? Let me give you a short list that you can bring with you. Ask for the tax bill on a completed occupied home in this community, not a land value projection. This is the most important one. You want to see what a real homeowner is paying right now, not what the builder estimates you'll pay on undeveloped land. Ask specifically, is there a CFD? What is the rate? What portion can be paid off? And what is permanent O&M? Get this in writing. If they can't answer clearly, the answer is in the public report. Ask for the public report and ask them to show you where the CFD disclosures are. You have a right to this document. A good sales rep will show you. If they're vague or resistant, that tells you something. Ask about the HOA and specifically about O&M overlap. Some communities have both an HOA and a CFD O&M obligation. You want to know if you're paying for park maintenance through both channels. Ask about special assessments, current and historical. Has the CFD ever issued additional bonds for phase 2 or 3 infrastructure? Could it? You can ask every one of these questions in the sales office. A transparent builder will answer them. And if you want someone in the room with you who can interpret the answers, that is exactly what I am here for. Here is the watch out for that most agents won't say out loud. When you sit in a builder's sales office and they walk you through the monthly payment, the rate buy down, the closing cost incentives, the beautiful base price, everything they're showing you is optimized to look as attractive as possible. They're not hiding the CFD. It's in the public report, but they are also not leading with it. The average buyer gets handed a 30+ page public report as a link in an email, often the same day they're being asked to put down the earnest deposit to hold the lot. The pressure is real. The excitement is real. The 30 pages of legal disclosure get read later, sometimes never. The way to protect yourself is simple. Don't go into a builder sales office alone for your first visit. Bring someone who reads public reports regularly. Bring someone who pulls real parcel data before making offers. That's not a sales pitch. That's just the right way to approach a 6-figure commitment. If you're looking at new construction in Buckeye, Goodyear, Peoria, or Surprise, and you want to know the actual tax picture before you sign anything, here's what I would suggest. We do a West Valley tax reality check. I pull the real parcel data for the community you're considering. We go through the CFD structure together. What is payable? What is permanent? We look at the full tax obligation, including school districts and base rate. And I show you what comparable homeowners are actually paying today. It takes about 45 minutes, it costs you nothing, and it's the kind of conversation that should happen before you put down a deposit, not after you're already under contract. Drop me a message, Give me a call if any of this sounds like your situation. You know where to find me. Let me leave you with 3 things I want you to walk away from this video. 1. The CFDs are not a scam. They are the mechanism that builds the infrastructure in the master plan communities you're looking at. Verrado, Teravalis, Vistancia, they exist because CFD financing made them possible. But you need to know what you are agreeing to. 2. The Year 2 tax reset is real. Ask for a current tax bill on an occupied home in the community. Don't budget based on land value projections. 3. Know whether your CFD obligation is payable, permanent, or both. Before you sign, not after. I'm Cassandra Chavez with the Chavez Stream Home Team. I help buyers relocating to the West Valley make this move with complete clarity. No surprises 6 months in. If this video helped you, share it with someone who's looking at Buckeye or Peoria. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one.